Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of What Are Your Thoughts? I'm your host, Allie, and man, I missed you guys last week. I just needed a little break, back to flying a little more. I think I jinxed myself a couple weeks ago. I said I fly all the time, and in reality, I was really only flying like once a week, but now I'm back to flying more and trying to balance it all. So, like I said, sometimes things don't always go as planned. I'm working closely with a good friend and accountability partner to be more intentional and more planned and ahead of schedule. So, sorry for last week. I needed a little break, but we're back. We're back, baby. New episode. I got to record with my good girlfriend, Casini, last week, and I'm excited for you guys to listen to this conversation. We talk about friendships, friendship breakups. We used to be roommates. We talked about being roommates and what it's like being friends and roommates. We talked about a little bit of 2020, good things that have happened, things Katie has learned this year, ways she's grown, and honestly, just a dang good girlfriend chat conversation, what you have. So sit back, relax, enjoy the episode. Whether you're driving to work, you're on a break, you're going for a walk, you're in the tub, whatever you're doing, enjoy this chat. And as always, let me know what are your thoughts, and yeah, enjoy the episode. With me today, I have my girl Katie on the Zoom. How's it going?
Hey, it's going. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. It's Friday.
I feel like I just have like a different energy on Fridays, and I wish I could apply that to every day.
I know. I'm like, even though I have to go to work later today, I still am like, everyone else is excited about Friday. So I have this like FOMO, like, oh, I'm so excited. What are we doing? And it's like, people are going to get Friday the 13th tattoos, going out to
I know,
eat.
it is Friday the 13th.
I know, and I'm like, I have to go to work.
Don't you have a Friday the 13th tattoo?
I have two. I have one on each arm.
Well, how do those work? Don't they get to tell you or pick it or something?
You go, most tattoo shop do it, and it's like $20 for a tattoo, or like technically it's $13 for a tattoo, but you have to tip because artists, and it's nice. And so it's like $20 for a Friday the 13th tattoo, and you pick from like a booklet.
Oh.
And so one of them is like everyone else has it, but the other one on my arm, just the 13 behind my elbow, I was in New Orleans on a girls trip, and I didn't like any of the ones in the book. And I was like, I've been standing in this line forever. I don't like any of these. And he's like, oh, can I just draw my own and surprise you?
Oh.
And a normal person would be like, oh, no, thank you. But I was like, why not? Sure. And so I'm like, it's behind my arm, so I can't see what he's doing while he's doing it. And then
you're like trying to look over.
It ended up being fine. And I just have a little 13. And
I actually like that one, though.
I don't regret any of my tattoos. I think I just get tired explaining them sometimes, like at work you can see that one, and so always on the plane some old man will always be like, what's the 13 mean? And I'm like, Friday the 13th. He's like, that's it, and I was like, yeah, that
yeah, that's like, it, sir.
I'm like, just a Friday the 13th tattoo. He's like, oh, you superstitious? And I'm like, a little, I guess. Would you like a Coke?
Like, I'm not going to sit in row 13 on the airplane. Sorry, you are.
We don't have a row 13.
Yes, some planes do.
I don't think.
I sat in it, and I freaked out the entire flight.
I feel like we don't have 13. Is there a 13 room?
There's
like
no 13 on the elevator, I'll tell you that.
There's no 13 on an elevator.
Right.
For having two Friday the 13th tattoos, I don't know, like, I'm not a spooky gal, and I don't know, like, that many, like, superstitious things. I think I'm just a faker.
I think you're a superstitious person, very intuitive.
Very
Superstitious
intuitive.
doesn't always have to be a spooky thing. It could just be like, you can feel the energy around you. It's
That's
almost
true.
like, have you ever played craps at the casino?
No.
Okay. Well, that game is like superstitious in the sense that it kind of feels like it matters which way the person rolling the dice rolls them. It matters how the dice hit the wall. It matters if they hit the chips. Like, it matters if the people at the table say the wrong word. Like, there's so many different variables that control the way that game goes. It's a very superstitious game for people.
Oh, maybe that's my new game. Just call me Superstitious Al. Anyway, happy Friday. Thanks for taking the time on your Friday morning to chat with me. So excited to talk to you. Tell us about yourself. Yes. Who the heck are you? Who is Katie? What do we need to know?
Well, what is there to know? I currently am 28, living in West Seattle, and I love it, even though the West Seattle Bridge has been shut down since we moved here in March. We, meaning I live with a roommate, one of my best friends, Erin, and her and I moved in here just a few days before quarantine hit and a few days before the bridge was shut down. So it's been quite the adventure, but we do love it. We're walkable to all the restaurants and bars and Alki Beach. I actually just went on a walk at the beach this morning to start my day.
Was it cold?
It was cold. I definitely dressed incognito style. Beanie on, hoodie, face mask, puffy coat.
Everything.
Want anybody to see me. But for work, I am an executive assistant at T-Mobile. I support the T-Vision team. We actually launched our product this year. It's my second product launch while working for T-Mobile. I also helped launch the home internet product, which is now considered high-speed internet. Other jobs that I would consider myself doing is in the process of launching the subscription box service. And once that gets off the ground a little bit more, I'd be happy to share that with everyone.
Yeah.
And what would we say my favorite food is?
Yeah, what's your favorite
Anything
comfort
Italian.
Food? Anything Italian. Katie Casini.
Yeah.
She's Italian.
Give me a bowl of pasta.
Seriously.
Some garlic bread.
Yes.
I literally keep garlic bread on hand, or I make my own with an English muffin, a little butter, some garlic, throw that in the oven.
There she is.
There she is.
Love it. I love
that. Sums up the basics.
Yeah. She loves Italian. She's a hardworking girl living in Seattle.
Yep. This is my first city style living adventure.
How's that
been? So far, I mean,
minus 2020. Have you enjoyed it?
I do. I like the convenience of everything being right here, being able to walk to whatever I feel like I want to go do. There's a bowling alley right here, which I haven't gone to, but I wish I could. I just won't go by myself, obviously.
Can you go bowling by yourself?
Yeah, but that's not fun. Who's going to watch you make the awkward walk back after you bowl?
I was just going to say, I've never gone bowling by myself, and I didn't know if it was allowed.
I don't know. I think so, like pro bowlers.
Yeah.
They got to get their practice in.
I guess it's like going to the gym.
Yeah, it is.
Maybe.
I suppose. You're right.
Well, yes. What else do we need to know about you? What are you loving right now? You're working from home.
Working from home all year. I have recently started going into the office a couple days a week just to kind of break up the monotony of being home every day and get some structure and routine going. I have continued to work out all year, but I'm also eating and sitting a lot more. So it's just for health at this point. I'm not cutting or bulking or probably bulking actually. But
I'm in a bulking season all year.
Yeah. I really have been trying to focus on just working out for the sake of being healthy and being able to my body. And I think that has changed my perspective on fitness a lot, rather than trying to do things to achieve a certain goal, just doing it because I can and because it's healthy and it feels good. And every workout just makes you feel so much better when you're done, even if you don't feel like doing it.
Are your gyms open up there? Are you working out at home?
I've been working out at home. I do have a gym membership, but it just seems more convenient and a little more safe right now to work out at home. And
Yeah.
I've gotten a ton of gym equipment. I bought a Peloton. Shout out Peloton. It's actually so fun.
You love it?
I do. I just hate how sweaty I get. And if I don't want to wash my hair that day, then I don't want to ride the Peloton.
Remember? Okay, so Katie and I, we used to be roommates last year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember when we would get up really early and go to that spin class in Bellevue?
Yes.
Not Soul Cycle. What was it? Flywheel. I tried to convince myself so many times that I like spin. And I feel like
it's a hard workout.
It's one of those things when you're from like the PNW, like both of us, telling people, like when people are like, oh, what do you do for fun? Or like, what do you like to do? I feel like my default response is like hiking. I love it.
Yeah. Do you hike though?
No, I don't even hike. The last time I went hiking was with you in LA, and that's not even a hike. What was it called? Runyon or something? It was like a walk.
The path was paved.
That's my kind of hiking. I loathe those brown hiking boots that people wear, mud, trees, all of it. I'm so fake. But I'll still tell people to this day I love hiking.
Yeah, because once you do it, it's fun. Like you get to a cool waterfall or really, really pretty view or something. But the principle of it, like all that goes into it is just so extra. Like I want to just like walk outside and enjoy. I don't want to have to like,
I'm like, get me to the waterfall via helicopter or something.
Yeah.
Like that last moment of the view is great. And that's how I feel about spin. Like I keep telling myself, I'm like, I love spin because everyone else says they do. And I'm like, no, I literally black out and I feel like I'm going to throw up the entire time. And then when it's over and you leave and you get this like one moment of like, oh, I'm a boss ass bitch. But I'm like, is it worth it for that?
It is.
That one moment?
For me, it is. The sweaty hair, though, I could do without. Like, I don't want to wash my hair every day.
I know. I think that's why I've convinced myself that I quit running this year because I get so sweaty running and I'm like, oh, I just washed my hair.
Right.
But
how have your runs been going?
We're back on the marathon training. And I have a story for you. I was texting you earlier about it, but I guess I don't know if you saw it. I decided I was supposed to run a marathon back in May. Obviously, COVID canceled. COVID canceled everything. And so now it's supposed to be for next May. And I just got an email about it. And they're like trying to figure out like breaking it up. So it's like some people run it on the Saturday, Sunday, or if you want to do it a virtual one. Like they're trying to make it as safe as possible. Well, they'll let us know. So either way, I'm going to run a marathon next May.
Okay.
And so I'll
be there.
I started my running and I went for a run. It was yesterday morning and I still don't really know the rules. And with the masks and stuff, I wear it everywhere you're supposed to. I see people without it running. So I'm like, okay, I'm actively running. I'm not trying to ever hurt anyone's feelings or hurt anyone's grandma or anything.
Including yourself.
Including myself. So I had no mask on for my 1 mile run and I'm running in the road in this like neighborhood and people are like on the sidewalks and stuff. So I'm far away from people. And this old lady comes like in my peripheral and she like swats her finger like this at me. And so I thought she was waving at me. So I waved back to her. And then I just like running, averaging like a 12-minute mile at this point because I'm starting over. And then I pass her again, but we're like still 20 feet away from each other. I'm like in the middle of this giant road. And she like comes out into the road and like tries to like block me, but she's still really far away from me and does the finger swiping again. And now she's shaking her head at me. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I'm like, then I feel really bad because I'm like, I didn't get it. I don't know the rules. And but then I see everyone else running with, some have masks, some don't. So I'm like, I guess I'll just run in circles in my backyard from now on. So that's how running, training, marathon, galloping has been going. I would say, well, honestly, I'm just going to chalk it up to she was waving at me twice.
Yeah.
And not
twice.
Not think anything else about it, but
Oh,
marathon.
Granny.
Oh, Granny. She was wearing like a full-on beekeeper outfit, and we loved it.
Of course.
Anyways, COVID has put a damper on a lot of things, but it's also made a lot of cool opportunities for people. Like,
yeah,
you know,
I made a long list the other day, actually, even before we decided to talk. And then it was funny that you asked me, like, what did you accomplish in 2020? And I was like, that's weird because I literally just made a list about.
Well, share it with the fans.
Trying to find the positives in 2020.
Yes. And also, let me just interrupt you really quickly because that's apparently what I'm good at. I've been told. You you are someone who is very, in my life, a positive influence, someone who, and without getting into personal details in your life, you have gone through hardships for someone so young. You've gone through a lot of things with family, friends, work, life, personal things. And I feel like when I look at you in the screen right now, you are really good at having a positive mindset. And it's not like this, oh, everything's fine, without healing and dealing with what you're going through. But you have a good way of shifting things, and you're very glass half full. And that's not to say you don't have your dark moments, and you're not, immune to sadness and depression type behaviors. But I would say overall, you are a very positive person and a very uplifting person.
Don't make me cry.
And so that's kind of why I want to talk to you and have this conversation, because you are that in my life. And
well, thank you.
You're
totally one of my go-to people. I feel like you and I share all the ups and the downs. Like, you're a person who can remind me to just pick it up and keep pushing, or to slow down and feel what I need to feel. And I can really respect those things, because there's not in every friendship do you find somebody that can truly be so authentic and genuine without being afraid that it could cause the friendship harm.
Right.
And I think that that's so important, to have a solid group of friends who can actually tell you what you need to hear.
Yes.
And
I feel like
you are totally that person.
Our friendship has been tested.
Oh,
and
yes.
Living
in so
with
many
friends, ways. What the heck? Who told anyone that was a good idea?
It's hard. I don't think people realize, like, it all sounds fun and glorified, and you don't realize that you grew up in different households for so many years.
Right.
And you built these habits in your own home. And then when you transfer that into a different space and you try to share the living area and merge those habits together, you see that maybe your friend that you just ran and rave about has some things that bother you. And it's a growth experience, right? Like, it doesn't always have to be a dividing line, but you definitely learn how to adapt and adjust. And, love really is blind, right? Even in friendships, sometimes we don't even realize what a friendship could do to us, but then you remove it because it gets to be too much and you feel a sense of relief. And I actually experienced that this year as well. And I know you went through that, and I think you've shared a little bit of that in earlier episodes, but randomly, sorry, I'm kind of bouncing off an idea here, but when I got out of an abusive relationship in like 2016, 2017, it kind of trickled into 2017 a bit. I was really close with a girl that I had met who knew my ex-boyfriend, the girl I had met through another group of friends, and we became super close. Like, we were both kind of on the same page in life, and we both enjoyed working out. So we would just find different things to do to kind of heal and grow together. And it was like, she didn't really have another best friend, and neither did I. So we kind of fulfilled that for each other. But the relationship, or friendship, I should say, which is a relationship, obviously, became really codependent in ways. And it almost felt like there was just a lot of underlying trauma that was coming out in other ways, and having to work through those things and almost tiptoe around each other. Like, it came down to a point where she told me she was afraid to speak up because she didn't know what my reaction would be. And that broke my heart. I don't want to be that friend to anyone. Like, you should always be able to come to me with anything. And I really take pride in the fact that I am that kind of friend, that it doesn't matter if you agree or disagree with me. Like, I'm going to hear you and do what I can to adjust accordingly and make sure that we can align, you know? So when she said that, I was just kind of taken aback. Like, how do I make sure that I'm not making other people feel shut off, or that they have to suppress themselves to be my friend?
Wow, I feel like that's such a mature response. Did you feel that initially, or did you let like pride get in the way and like?
Well, so we've had kind of a bit, like a few things have happened in our friendship where it had caused some distance to come between us and different things. And then when COVID hit, you know, I really wasn't hanging out with anyone in the very beginning. I was taking this very seriously, and I still am. I'm very choosy of like how I spend my time, where I spend it.
Same.
You know, I want to be healthy and safe, and for me and for everyone else. And
totally.
So,
it's not a personal cutting out. It's like,
no,
these are the rules.
Yeah. I mean, literally our government is, putting this in place, right?
Right.
So when this happened, this friend felt like I wasn't spending enough time with her, and that she had brought up past experiences where she felt like I would only include her if, like, through certain guidelines, basically. And that broke my heart, because I want all my friends around all the time. Like, I wish that they all got along and they were all in the same room. Like, we all have such limited time. And then especially when friends get in relationships, things change, and like sleepovers happen less, and girls' nights happen less, and everything. So it made me feel so bad that she felt like I would replace her. So I wanted to try to figure out, like, how could I adjust that? Well, then the conversation went on further, and a lot of hurtful words were exchanged. And I just had said to her, like, I just can't have this conversation right now. And by that, I meant in this moment. Like, I would have texted her later.
Yeah.
Then more long texts came, and it just got to a point where I knew that there was probably no recovery. And to be honest, I just never responded, because after what I had said to try to fix the situation or de-escalate it, the direction it went further was I couldn't fix what had been done. And I knew that she was hurt, I was hurt, and that for whatever reason, it just felt like our friendship was no longer meant to be. We were friends for a season, probably not for a lifetime. And that was hard, right? Like, I miss her all the time, but I know that it was healthier for both of us, which sounds so weird. Like, it was almost like I got out of one toxic relationship, like romantic relationship, and then
just to get into another. Yeah.
It was very weird. It was a huge learning experience, but we had so many fun times together. But I just hope that she's thriving in a new way. You know, like, I obviously was not healthy for her. Either.
I think as women in our friendships, and, you know, we go through seasons and reasons and lifetime friendships, and it's, like you said, it's important, and it's good that you learned something from that friendship, because, you know, I've experienced things like that this year too. And it's like, though I might not be in this person's life anymore and they're not in mine, I can't negate the fact that there were good times and that I learned a lot, and things I did wrong in that friendship, or things that didn't work, or things I learned about myself, good and bad, I can carry and take into other friendships. So, you know, it doesn't have to be this like black and white, all bad, because we're not friends anymore.
No, you know? I feel like you and that friendship, like, you both gave that your all, and you were honest and authentic and genuine. And I feel like if that wasn't better received, then that's not on you, because you showed up to be your best self for that friendship. And it was no longer serving either one of you. And that's okay.
Yeah. I think the older we get,
but it works out.
And I've talked about it before in other podcast, but it seems like a lot of girls, or I guess we're women, a lot of women struggle with friendships and friendship breakups, and we don't know how to handle them because there's no rule book or guidebook to handle them. You know, like there's so many movies about romantic breakups, like, oh, you eat the chocolate, you watch sad movies, you hang out with your girlfriends, you hook up with people if you feel so necessary.
Yeah.
You know, there's all these things to get over someone romantically, but it's like, how do you, when that's your platonic friend, that's the person you go to when you are going through your breakups.
Yeah.
And now they're gone.
That, I think, is the hard part, is that being hurt by the person that you also find comfort in, right?
Yeah.
You want to go to that person to talk to about what's going on, but that's the person you're hurting with or over.
Yeah. Yep.
And how do you, I think in that moment is when people truly find how to comfort themselves, and that creates more self-love. And I did not realize that until I went to therapy, and my therapist asked me, well, who are you going to talk to about your problems besides me? Like, who were you going to before this? And I named off a few people, and she was like, did you tell them all the stuff you just told me? Who did you share those things with? And I was like, no, I didn't. I shared that with myself. And I get a little teary-eyed because you don't realize how important loving yourself is until you have no other option than to clap for yourself.
Yeah. And
I feel like in today's world, especially with social media, people look for validation in all the wrong places. But if you can find that validation within yourself first, you don't need it from anyone else, because you know who you are. And people's opinions of you doesn't concern you, because that's their own thought. And if it's behind your back, because they didn't want you to hear it anyway. So let them deal with that behind your back. Yeah. It's not about the he said, she said. It's about what you say about yourself.
That's really good.
And it took a long time, 28 years.
Yeah, but she's here.
To figure that out. And I still get my feelings hurt, right?
Yeah.
But it does get easier. And you do realize, like, that you do have friends that will be there for you the same way you would be there for yourself. You got to fill their cup up the way that you would fill theirs up. It's a mutual respect.
Yeah, you especially teach me that, like, when I go to you with my hurts, the way you respond to me, I know it's authentic, because that's how you respond to yourself. It's like you to you, that's how you treat yourself. And it's like inspiring and encouraging to me to be more gentle and not take things so personal. Like, for as many times as I say, like, I don't take things personal, I don't get offended. It's like, I'm trying to manifest that. I'm trying to become unoffendable. I'm trying to not take things personal.
Oh, I take so many things
hard.
Personal. Yeah.
Especially when things are just through social media, you know, subtweets or subtexts or sub posts. It's like, this is so at me. Why didn't you just tag me? Yeah. It's like, maybe it has nothing to do with you.
And most likely it doesn't. And even if it does, it will reveal itself. So, oh well.
Exactly. Like, I recently hadn't seen a friend for a while. And then I was in my head, I'm like, oh, are they mad at me? Did I do, like, replaying all these things? And then we get together and they're like, oh, I was just, you know, taking some time in. I was spending time by myself. It had nothing to do with me. And so I'm like, why do we do that? There's like a full on Broadway premiere show in my head of all the things, assumptions I've cast, personal things, made up stuff, and they're all just...
Yep. It is so funny how we search for reasons as to why something happened. We can create so many reasons why, but we'll never honestly know what the reason is. So why do we even spend the energy and the time to try to be like, well, why did they say it this way? Well, what if this happened? Or
what do you think they
about this?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that is so unhealthy. And I wish I could stop doing that sometimes. And I'm trying so hard. I just recently went through a situation and I just thought to myself, like, was it this that I said? Was it that? I'll get off a work call and be like, oh, should I have not said it like that? And I'll think about it for weeks. And those people probably didn't even hear me say anything. Like, they're not even thinking about it.
Or they didn't think twice about it.
Exactly. But here I am just stuck in my little anxious loop of like all these unhealthy thoughts. And it's like, just stop, just take a deep breath and just
go take
feel
a nap.
what you need to feel. You know, just get out of your own head sometimes, because it's not a good place to be stuck.
I don't want to be stuck
anxious. Yeah. It's funny how we can do that and just come up with so many reasons of all these things that have happened. And at the end of the day, we don't even know, and we won't.
No.
And that's okay.
And we have to be okay with that.
Yeah, it's funny. But sorry, I went off such a tangent. I love it. You asked me about.
Let's bring it back. Let's park the car. Let's parallel park the car for a second.
Parallel park is so embarrassing. That meme that was circulating earlier this year, I'm like, yeah, just repost that as many times as you need.
Seriously, the amount of people that sent me the parallel parking one, I was like, I know. Yeah. That is my only flaw. I'm not going to.
Memes are such a love language.
I know. You and me and then Lindsay, we just popping off with the memes always.
So funny. But
okay, so tell us we've parked the car. It took us 20 minutes and there was no cars behind us. What is something about 2020?
Yeah, you asked me, like, it was ironic actually, because this morning you said, I want you to talk about 2020 a little bit. Like, what did you accomplish this year? And I thought that was crazy you asked me, because the other day I actually sat down and thought to myself, out of all the chaos of this year and all the negativity that people have to say about it, like, this year sucks, blah, 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 this stuff happened. But so much good came from this year too. And I had made a note about that because it's so important to me, as you mentioned, that I focus on the good things too and not just pry on what sucks.
Yeah.
And so I made this list. I'll read it out loud for you all to hear. And I kind of just bounced around between travels and experiences and feelings. So I traveled for work to New Orleans, which I loved the live music scene. It was so fun. It was right before quarantine hit, and it was my first time there. Amazing food, traveling with some of the best people I work with. It was just overall such a good time.
Yeah.
Then I also got to meet my sister. My mom gave a baby up for adoption at birth when my mom was 20. So this sister is 7 years older than me. And I spent a lot of time working with a private investigator to reconnect with her. And I actually got to meet her in February. So and good. We have been building a friendship, relationship, whatever you want to call it. But yeah. I will save all of that. That's a lot of information. So yeah, save that for another day. I was planning to go to Ireland and London for my birthday and St. Patrick's Day, and had to cancel that due to COVID, but booked a ticket to Mexico 24 hours before departure and went and had such a good time. Yay. Like I mentioned earlier, I moved to West Seattle. I reconnected with my dad. Him and I had not talked for 2 years, and we had not seen each other for 4 years, but I had been super persistent about getting that relationship back because I thought that it would be better without it. And I spent so much time thinking about it and trying to work through that, and just realized, no, that's not better. I want this person in my life. I will do whatever it takes. I felt as the daughter that he should pursue the relationship with me, but I don't know what kind of mental state he's in. So maybe this is my duty right now. So I did what I could, and I got to go see him twice this year, actually. And he also came up here for my stepsister's wedding, Erin. She got married. So that was also another good thing out of the year. And she had a new baby. So now I have 2 little nephews. Like I mentioned, got rid of some bad friendships, though it could be considered a bad thing of the year. Like I said, it helped me mentally. And so I will consider it a positive because I do hope that that person is also thriving. I transferred from the home internet team to the T-Vision team, and we launched. I know I mentioned that already too, which is funny how all these topics have already come up, but hey, it's good.
It's that glass half full in you.
Yeah. I ran 4 times a week for 6 weeks, the most painful weeks of my life. I don't know how you run, Allie, because my shins, my hips, my knees, like, I don't know. I said I'm 28, but it's like my body is not. I don't know. I went to Arizona a couple times. And for those of you who don't know, I used to actually live there for a couple years. I still have family there, and it's probably one of my favorite places on earth. I got to spend Father's Day with my dad, and we also went to Disney World with our masks on. Don't worry, we were
Before y'all
safe.
come into the comments.
Yeah. Oh my god. My mom went to treatment this year for her drug addiction. I don't know how many of the listeners know that part of my life. Also, I'd be happy to share that someday if anybody has curiosity about dealing with an addict in your life and what that consists of. I went to Missouri for my first time for my cousin Garrett's wedding. I hope that they are living happily ever after. He's also an active service member, so he's out doing whatever he has to do while his wife is getting their life started. Mm-hmm. And of course, I got to go to LA and visit you for a weekend. It was during the week, but it felt like a weekend. And yeah, started my subscription box, and now we're here.
And now I keep forgetting that, like, it's not the entire year, because I'm like, we spent January and February this year being roommates.
In the Bellevue house, yeah.
In the Bellevue house, being friends and roommates. Yep. That was fun.
Yeah. We had a few days of notice, and then we all had to move. That was great.
Yeah, we all had to leave.
Right after she also drowned our whole basement in plumbing issues. That was also good.
I try to just honestly forget most of... There were a lot of good things being your roommate, but there were a lot of... I feel like that house did not want us to live there.
I agree.
Like,
a lot of things
circling back to superstitious things or signs and stuff. But I was like, I really feel like... Not that the situation was forced to live there and, like, make it work, but there were a lot of signs and red flags that were like... Stop, turn back, go live with your mom and dad. But it was fun.
The best part was that the rent was so cheap, and the location was great for me.
Location was great. Rent was cheap. Friendships were made.
Yep. But everything else was a shitstorm.
Everything else about it was a lot of learning. I got learned a lot.
You're going to learn this year.
I learned that 405 traffic sucks.
Oh, yeah. That is just something else. With quarantine, it's still bad.
Is it?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even understand.
I don't think I've really experienced any traffic this year, which I'm a freak. I don't mind traffic. I always leave I just end up being late to things, which I'm fine with, but I'm sure it frustrates people. But I never hate traffic. Mm-hmm. I like just bopping around, chilling in my car, listening to music. Same 4 songs. Podcasts. Calling a friend, phone a friend.
I've been actually having my own car karaoke lately. Hand used as my mic.
I love it.
Just kind of dancing. And then I'm like, does anyone else see me? I just realized how into this I am. But it feels good when you just do it, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think
it's like if I have to get out of a bad mood or something, I just hop in my car, drive along the beach, turn the music up. And it just feels good.
Or what gets you? That's funny. I didn't even ask that question yet. That's what gets you out of your funks these days, or?
Yeah, I would say just getting in the car to go.
Put on.
It's like the only place that you can be, where nobody else can really bug you. It's that and on the toilet. Nobody's going to come bother me while I'm on the toilet.
Hopefully.
And nobody's going to come bother me while I'm in my own car. Unless it's other drivers, you know?
Yeah.
But it's a place where people don't really reach you unless you allow them to. And I think that is just...
Oh my gosh, I just got the weirdest visual of you on the toilet. Unless you allow them to. It's like, I hope you lock your bathroom door.
I guess I don't understand because I'm not a mom yet, but I do, and I don't have pets.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like parents and pet owners always post photos or videos of like their kids or their dogs or their cats, like just interrupting them in the bathroom or like in the shower, you know?
It's so
Like,
true. I'll FaceTime Taylor, my older sister, with kids.
Yeah.
And she won't answer. She'll be like, sorry, I was pooping or whatever. And I'm like, oh, so was I. Why didn't you answer my phone call? And she's like, this is my like 30 seconds for the kids till the kids find me. And I don't want to be bothered. She's like, I already got them both at my ankles while I go to the bathroom. Now I have to answer your calls. Girl, please.
Like, nah. That's funny. It's true though.
I was just telling Erin yesterday, like right now, the only place I feel safe, like literally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, government restrictedly, is my house right now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I still like going for my morning walks and stuff, but I'm like, no one, like you said, unless you have a home intruder, no one can get you.
No, it's very true.
Let's see, what else do I got?
You just gotta be in your lonesome, you know? Yes.
And you said that you responded to one of my stories of something good that happened to you this year. It was like learning to be alone, like for real.
Yeah. I know. It's an interesting feeling, but
me being naturally
really need to take a little refreshment drink.
You're good. Me being naturally introverted, it's even challenged and tested me this year. I like being alone, but there's sometimes I'm like, Erin will go to work for a couple days and I'll be off or whatever, and I'm like, I haven't seen another person in days or talked to someone.
Yeah, it's good to have people surrounding you sometimes. Like, I know often you like to go like sleep over at Emily's house or something just to have the company. Even if you go and you don't talk or you're going just to sleep over, it's like just being in the presence of other people's energy sometimes is all you need.
Yeah.
Like, some of my favorite friend times are when we don't have to talk. We can sit on the couch, watch Netflix or a show, or even just like play on our phones and not have to talk, just like be in each other's presence, because sometimes I just want to be around you. I don't want to talk about anything.
And those are like, I'm like, have certain people in my life highlighted that it's like, if you can pass that test of, or you're just sitting on my bed while I fold laundry and it's not awkward, then you're in.
Yes.
And I think because we met through a mutual friend.
We did.
Last year, 2 years ago.
I think it was when you came over to the townhouse and you guys were going out on like that like holiday cruise thing or something.
But when we became roommates, I was like, okay, yeah, I like Katie. Like, she seems cool, whatever. She posts cool pictures on her Instagram. She has tons of shoes. Yeah, I'm like, and whenever you'd go out, I'm like, she dresses cute. Can we share clothes? And then I think it was like you were folding laundry in your room, and I just like walked downstairs and like plopped on your bed, and we didn't. I mean, it was just you and I, so there was our mutual friend wasn't there, and so it's like, all right,
I guess we're friends now.
Test time, you passed. We're friends.
Yes,
those were some of my favorite moments. Where we just.
I used to love it too when Annie moved into that house with us, and she would come home a little tipsy and just jump in my bed and just sleep in my room.
That was the best.
Like, hi, friend. Hi, buddy. Like, hey, buddy. She just has the best energy ever. Her personality just outshines so many others. Like, when you think of Annie, it's just like, hey, buddy.
I know. To know her is to love her.
I know.
I miss her. Best. We'll all have to get and have a reunion.
Yeah, she just moved down the street from me, actually. So
perfect.
I should probably try to see her more often. And her cute puppy, Beans.
I know. So cute. Yeah. Okay.
I love his Instagram.
I know. I follow his Instagram too. You shared with us things you've learned in 2020. Here's a fun one. What quote inspires you? Or lyric?
I feel like... So I have one tattoo, and I think, there's a joke amongst you, me, and the roommates of the house. And it's like, you either have them or you don't regarding tattoos, right?
Yeah.
And of course, like you either have a tattoo on your skin or you don't. But I think when the person said that, they meant like you're either like yatted or you just have like one, or none. Yes. And I'm that person that just has one, and I'll probably only ever have just one. But it says, love yourself. And it's hidden. It's for me. It's next to my heart. And it's my gentle reminder to always love myself. And I know that I've said that so many times, but I say it so many times because I have to remind myself all the time. If I can't love myself, how am I going to love you? Right. And how am I going to expect anybody else to love me? And you can't give what you don't have. So it's a really strong reminder for me to just focus on that. And there's so many things to love, even on our worst days.
That is so good.
Yes.
It's really good. And like I said, you either have tattoos
or you don't.
Or you don't. It's as simple as that. Why is my whole life a big book of embarrassing things?
Okay, embarrassing things though? No, my life. I feel like I text you at least once a day with something embarrassing that happens.
Okay, try this. I had to do this like before because I was like trying to think of some embarrassing stories that we could share later. I went to my text and like, when you scroll up and you just type in a word, like I started to type out embarrassing and embarrassed. And like, I say that word so many times. So then I was like reminded of like texting you being like the most embarrassing thing just happened to me. And then it's like the story and I'm like rereading it, getting like secondhand embarrassment.
Oh, I hate secondhand embarrassment. Oh, like why do I even feel that for other people? They're probably not even embarrassed. I don't know.
I think secondhand embarrassment is worse than.
Yes.
I mean, there are times where I feel embarrassed, but things that should be embarrassing aren't to me. Same. If that makes sense. But then I hear things or I like see things and I get that secondhand embarrassment and like I start sweating. And my chest gets all red and it
happens to me in like TV shows or like out in public. Like I'll see somebody do something and I'm like, ugh, like I know that they're feeling it right now and I just want them to not be embarrassed. Like it's okay. Or so cringy.
Watching, like things on the plane I witness and I'm like, I wish I could unsee that.
Yeah. Or like how I literally get pooped on by a bird almost every time I go outside.
I think that's good luck.
That's what people say, but I don't know. Like it's getting to the point. It was last year at this time. I was at the Seahawks game and it was so cold, so rainy. I was in holey jeans and a bird pooped right on the part where there was a hole in my pants. So the poop was on my bare thigh and it was steaming because the poop was so hot, but it was so cold outside.
Oh my gosh.
I was sitting like in a group full of just like manly men, you know what I mean? Like guys that would just be like, oh, wipe it off.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
You're getting on the skin.
It was sticky. It was green. I was just like, what? And I had to just
wipe it
with a napkin and just pray it didn't happen again. And I feel like it has literally happened so many times since then. Like I will go down to Alki. For anybody who doesn't know what Alki is, it's a beach in Seattle. And I will get home thinking, wow, I made it. I didn't get pooped on this time. And I get home and it's like on my hood. And I'm like, oh my God.
We'll have to look into that. And maybe we are more superstitious than we think.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a sign or it's a good luck thing or it's a warning or.
It's definitely something, I would say. Because it's kind of hilarious.
I've never been pooped on by a bird.
Well,
or by anyone. Anything. I've never been
lucky too, I think.
I've never been pooped on, period.
Yeah. But you've pooped your pants.
But I
have not done that
pooped
yet.
My pants. I also think I was just talking with a friend. People who say they've never sharted or pooped their pants are just lying.
I'm not lying. I have not done that.
Maybe we'll title this, I've never sharted. That's so clickbaity. They have to get to like an hour.
Rhymes with Katie.
Clickbaity Katie. They'd have to get like an hour into the conversation because they're like, when are they talking about sharding?
Oh, no. Oh, there's somebody outside my window trying to parallel park right now.
Oh, do you have secondhand embarrassment for them?
I don't want to look.
I seriously, if there's street parking, I literally won't go to things.
Yeah.
Ugh. Like, I have to set up boundaries for myself.
Same, man. I do actually ask, like, oh, well, what's the parking going to be like? Mm-hmm. Because that will determine, A, how early I need to be there to figure it out.
And B, if I'm going.
Or B, if I'm even going to go.
Yeah. Or, like, anytime I go to the beach and there's, like, it's street parking, I'm like, yeah, I'm here. But, like, I went out to dinner with my brother in Hermosa Beach last week, and he picks this, like, obviously cool spot. Like, you know, we've tried to find a place with outdoor dining, and like we're both craving like comfort food. So he found this spot like out like the main drag in Hermosa Beach, like on the pier. And I'm like, cool. And so I pull up and I'm like, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I didn't know the parking situation.
Yeah.
And then my armpits start sweating, and so now I'm driving like this. Like, I got my hat on, so I'm like, I still need to manifest the big hat energy, but I can't park. I'm like, people are going to know I'm not a good parker. They're going to see through the hat energy, and I'm a fraud.
It was literally this summer. So all my windows are down. My sunroof is open. My mom calls on Bluetooth, so anybody outside of my car can hear it, obviously. And I'm trying to parallel park, and I've got myself in such a situation. There's traffic behind me. There's people on the patio eating. And I'm just like, Mom, I have to call you back. Oh, my God, I'm trying to parallel park right now. And I felt instant guilt for how snappy I was because I was so stressed out trying to parallel park. And I'm just like, it's not that serious. None of these people know how to do it either.
Right.
They're just laughing at me. They're getting secondhand embarrassment. And I'm embarrassed too.
Yes. Well, I asked some people to share their embarrassing stories. So I'm going to read a couple.
I'm sure we can relate.
Yes. Obviously, keep it anonymous, and there are some really funny ones. Maybe we'll do a bonus episode just of embarrassing stories.
We should.
First of all, my embarrassing story, I posted one question, and then I was getting some responses, and then I posted another one saying, I meant to say, keep them coming.
Oh.
And I said, keep me coming.
Oh.
And my friend Lindsay replied, she goes, keep me coming. Eh? And I'm like, eh? And then my other friend comments, she's like, asks for more embarrassing stories, gets embarrassed herself. And I'm like, yeah,
That's like your motto.
I know. I'm like, if I can laugh at myself, you can laugh at you.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, let's see. Someone said, one of my flight attendant friends, she said, I asked a lady if she was flying for business or pleasure, and she started crying and told me her dad was in cargo, and I don't ask anymore.
I wouldn't either. Did she cry with her?
Probably. I don't know.
I can actually totally relate to that because one time when I worked at Cheesecake Factory about 10 years ago, I felt so freaking bad. So every time we walked a family back to sit down, we had to move the chairs around if it needed to fit more people, or remove the silverware settings if there wasn't going to be a person sitting there. And so I have all these menus, and I have to gather the silverware and the plates off the table. And one of the guests was in a wheelchair, so I moved the chair so that he can wheel his chair up there. Mm-hmm. And my hands are so full, and I'm like, I just don't have enough hands for this. The gentleman in the wheelchair did not have hands. And I've never felt so bad. That has left an impression on my life since. I remember that. It made me so aware of what I'm saying to people. Mm-hmm. And that gentleman, I just cannot. I imagine I probably crushed him. And that just broke my heart so bad.
No. It's like we forget that embarrassing things can also just be, they're not always like laugh out loud funny sometimes in the moment.
No,
It's like later we can laugh, but
it's like
this is
soul crushing.
This isn't my story, but one of my friends, she's a flight attendant. She was working a flight, and there, everyone has to wear their masks on the plane, and you got to remind people above the nose too, and all this stuff. And they had reminded this guy, a couple times, and he was, disgruntled, whatever, annoyed. He does it. So then they pull out the cart and hit his knee with the cart, and they felt really bad. So when they were done with her service, she went to go bring him chocolates and like a beer saying sorry. And she's like, oh, we're so sorry for hitting you. Here's a beer. Here's chocolate. He goes, what am I supposed to do with this? And he pulls his mask down. He's like, I don't have any teeth. When she was telling me this story, I was like, oh my gosh. I just, in that moment, remembered 7,000 awkward things I've done at work. I ran over a dog's foot with the cart one time.
Oh.
And that was really awkward. I've hit people with the cart, and they like screamed.
What? They shouldn't be in the aisle.
I know. Every time I go through the aisle with my cart, I sing head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Not at night because I know people are sleeping, but during the day I'll go head, shoulders, knees, and toes, or I'll make like robot sounds like beep boop, beep beep boop.
Why on one of your flights? That would just be just a situation.
It would be a situation and a half.
We could pretend like we don't know each other and just see the reactions of others.
Oh my gosh. I could just like be crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Someone said, my first time to my husband's house, I clogged his toilet. He had no plunger.
Oh. I would die.
I actually just clogged the toilet when I was in Jersey on a layover.
No, that's right.
It was awful.
I have not done that in literally years. And
I wish I
have
could
a hilarious story for when it happened, but
save it. You want to share it?
I can share it real quick. Let's see. So,
didn't you clog the toilet when we lived in Bellevue?
No.
Did I? It was probably me.
So, probably.
It's probably me.
I don't even know if we had a plunger in that house either. But anyway, so again, like 10 years ago when I was leaving Seattle to move down to Phoenix or Scottsdale, whatever you want to call it, my cousin Rachel drove with me. And we stopped in Palm Springs at her friend's house for one of the nights before we drove all the way into Arizona. Well, I clogged the toilet, and I'd never had to plunge a toilet before, so I needed Rachel to do it for me. Well, she had just got done going to the bathroom before me, so honestly, maybe she clogged it, and I just got the second hand clog situation, you know? And so she comes in to help me, no pants on, and I'm cracking up because she has to bend over to plunge the toilet, and there's something white in her butt. So I'm like, are you on your period too? Because I was also. And she's like, no, why? I'm like, well, there's something white in your butt. She had toilet paper stuck.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's worse than it like being on your shoe. Oh, that is awful.
Oh, it's always our joke. Like, check your butt crack.
Check your butt crack. Check your shoes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Man. Well, there's a couple more. I don't have a lot of time. I just realized I have to get going to work soon, unfortunately. Oh, geez. I know my morning got all jacked up. I didn't shower or work out. Stayed up really late. Okay. We watched Frozen last night. I want to continue the conversation. Like we should do a part 2.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do a part 2.
A heart 2.
A heart. My gosh, I haven't had any coffee yet or breakfast.
Oh no.
Any last words you have for the listeners?
I do not have anything to share for today, but I'll brainstorm for next time and make sure that I have some juicy answers for your listeners.
Got the juicy answers, juicy questions.
I got the juice.
She's got
Isn't
the
there
juice.
a song like that?
That should be our new song, our new jingle.
Right.
Where can we find you? What are you doing? How can we support you? What do you need?
Well, I can share maybe on the next episode about the business I'm launching. You can
It's very new, very secret in the works. Tell us, what is it?
It's a subscription box, and that's all I'm going to leave it at for now until I get the details and the product team on board. But you can definitely follow me on Instagram. Allie tags me often. I repost her stuff all the time because obviously I'm your biggest fan. I love you. If there's anything that people want to hear more of after hearing this one, just let me know.
Yeah.
Got some good, juicy stories if anybody's interested.
I feel like this was just like the intro to Katie.
Yeah.
And now people, their ears have been piqued.
Yeah, something like that.
You've piqued my interest, and we want to hear more from you.
This was really like a best friend chat, you know?
I know.
Maybe they're not even going to want to hear what we have to say because we just kind of caught up, but we're funny.
I know. But I love podcasts like that.
Me too. Girls Gotta Eat is one of my favorite podcasts, actually. I saw them live, and I think that helped me connect with them differently, but they're so all over the place, and I love it.
I know. I love hearing friends chat. I could listen to it forever. I like the morning toast. Two sisters. Pretty good.
I need to listen to that one.
And then there's one, two girls, one ghost.
Oh, I bet that one's funny.
It's a lot of spooky stories, but it's just, again, two friends chatting.
Nice.
I really like it. So
Two girls, one ghost.
I know. I like the little.
I've been ghosted.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You got it, girl. Have a wonderful day at work. I love you so much.
Thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode. I hope you don't think I'm too much of a jerk off friend for the way it ended. I was running out of time. The conversation was just getting really good, and there'll be more to come with Katie, I promise. I just was limited on time due to my poor planning. So again, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Go find Katie on Instagram. Be your friend. She is one of the most genuine and honest, great girlfriends I have. Find me on Instagram at _wateryourthoughts, and that's where you let me know what are your thoughts. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and week, and we'll see you next week for another episode. Bye, guys.